All right, let's get right into it. We're all familiar with that moment, right? That high stakes job interview, the big board meeting, that critical presentation. The one time you really need to be on your game, but instead, your mind just turns to mush. Well, this whole explainer is about giving you the tools to cut right through that fog. You know that feeling, don't you? Someone fires a question at you, every single eye in the room is on you, and then, poof, nothing. The brilliant point you had just a second ago is completely gone. It's such a common, incredibly frustrating experience. But what if I told you there's a real neurological reason for it? And, believe it or not, a surprisingly simple fix. So first, let's just sit with that feeling for a second. Because this isn't just about forgetting your words, it's a full body takeover. It all starts physically, doesn't it? Your heart starts hammering against your ribs, maybe your palms get a little sweaty, and your brain just feels like it's short-circuiting. And what do we do to compensate? We start talking more, right? We start rambling, hoping we'll just stumble our way back to the point. But all that does is make things worse, creating this downward spiral of confusion for everyone. And listen, this is not just you. This isn't a you problem. Research shows again and again that having to perform under a time crunch is one of the biggest triggers for anxiety. And that anxiety is what kicks off the whole physical chain reaction. So let's be clear, this is a biological response, not some kind of personal failure. So when that panic sets in, our gut instinct is to try and explain our way out of the mess. The problem is that instinct is built on a complete and total myth about what it means to be clear. Okay, here's the myth we all fall for. To be clear, I just need to add more detail, more context, more background. The truth? It's the exact opposite. Real clarity comes from subtraction, not addition. It's about boiling everything down to one single, powerful claim. Your job isn't to be a fire hose of information. Your job is to be a laser beam. And this is so crucial. When you dump a truckload of complexity on your audience, you don't inform them, you paralyze them. A clear, singular message, that's what gives people the confidence to get on board and actually do something. Everything else is just static. So, if our gut instinct is so wrong, why do we keep doing it? Well, to figure that out, we need to take a quick peek under the hood at what's actually happening inside our brains. It all comes down to this idea called cognitive load. The easiest way to think about it is like the RAM on your computer. Your working memory has a limited amount of space. And when you're stressed, you're trying to juggle way too much. The question you were asked, all your possible answers, the weird look your boss is giving you, you overload the system. And just like a computer, it crashes. This image is just a perfect metaphor for it. Your thinking needs a structure, like a blueprint for a house. If you just keep throwing more and more random lines and notes and measurements onto it, the whole thing becomes useless. It collapses. That is exactly what is happening to your thoughts under pressure. And there's another thing happening called the coherence effect. Basically, our brains are wired to trust things that are simple and make sense right away. A single logical point feels coherent, so we find it credible. But a jumble of disconnected ideas, that feels incoherent, and it makes people instinctively skeptical and confused. Okay, so we know the enemy is cognitive overload. The solution then has to be a way of communicating that works with our brain's natural programming instead of constantly fighting against it. And here it is. It's called the pyramid principle. And it's so simple, it's almost deceptive. Instead of doing what we normally do, building up a case with lots of background details and saving the conclusion for the end, you just flip it completely upside down. You start with your main point, the single answer, right at the top. Everything else just supports that one idea. I mean, just look at the night and day difference on this slide. The before is a rambling mess. It's creating cognitive load in real time. But the after? That's a pyramid. It starts right at the top with a core decision. This is about resource allocation, and then gives the single answer. Prioritize retention over expansion. It's stable, it's directed, it's done. So how do you find that single answer to put at the top of your pyramid? The best way is to think of it like you're telling a tiny, powerful story. First, you set the scene. That's the situation, the context everybody already agrees on. Then you introduce the conflict. That's the complication, the new problem that's changed things. And that complication naturally leads to the big question, which your answer then resolves in one clean statement. Okay, theory's great, but this is all about building muscle memory. The only way to get this into your bones is to practice. So we're going to do a quick, no-polish, one-take drill. Ready?
Here's your scenario. You're in a meeting. Your boss turns to you and asks this exact question. Now remember, your goal is not to brainstorm a list of 10 cool ideas. Your goal is to find one single defensible answer.
You've got 90 seconds, and the clock starts now. Okay, first, just think about the situation. What's the context everyone knows? Get that clear. Okay, now what's the complication? What's the new challenge or change? A budget cut, a new competitor? What's the problem? That problem is what raises the question your boss just asked. And now, the most important part. Formulate your one-sentence answer. What's the single most critical thing to do? Just that one statement. You've got about 10 seconds left. Get your answer ready. Okay, time's up. How did that feel? I'm guessing it was a little uncomfortable, right? You have to actively fight that urge to list everything you can think of. But did you feel it? The moment you forced yourself to find one single answer, did you feel that little click of focus in your brain? That's the feeling of cutting through the noise. And that feeling of focus, that is the whole point. This isn't just some clever little communication trick. It's a tool for your own thinking. This right here is the line I want you to remember. Structure is a neurological safety rail. Let me say it again. Structure is a neurological safety rail. When you're under pressure and your mind starts to swerve off the road, this framework is what keeps you on track. It saves you from that panicked, what do I say next mode, because you always know exactly where you are. So let's just quickly recap the whole thing. 1, pressure overloads your brain. It's a fact. 2, your instinct to add more detail is wrong. You have to fight it and focus on one single message. 3, use that top-down pyramid structure, answer first, to deliver your message cleanly. And 4, practice this. Do these little drills until it just becomes second nature. And I'll leave you with this question to take with you. Think about the most important conversation or meeting you have coming up this week. What is the one, and I mean one, idea that you absolutely have to land? Find that answer, build your pyramid around it, and I promise you, you will feel the power of clarity under load.